In a seemingly normal family, a secret was festering, one so dark it would destroy everything in its path. A Muslim wife, bound by tradition, fell into a forbidden affair with her father in law, a man twice her age and trusted by everyone. But when their twisted love was on the verge of being exposed, desperation turned deadly. What unfolded next would leave investigators stunned and a community shattered. What really happened inside that house? And why did it end in bloodshed? The answers will leave you questioning how far people will go to protect their secrets. The Malik family was the picture of unity and tradition, living together in a grand home that reflected their deep rooted values. Samira, a young wife in her late 20s, had married Tariq, the eldest son of Javed Malik, a respected businessman in the community. From the outside, their life seemed idyllic. Tariq was hardworking and ambitious, while Samira fulfilled her duties as a dutiful wife and daughter in law with quiet grace. The family operated like clockwork, bound by cultural expectations and a collective sense of pride. But beneath the polished surface, there were cracks forming that no one dared to see. Samira's days were spent managing household responsibilities, while Tariq worked long hours to expand the family business. At first, she found solace in the bustling home, surrounded by Tariq's family. But as the months passed, loneliness began to creep in. Tariq's absences grew longer, his attention diverted entirely to his career, leaving Samira feeling invisible. Javed, the patriarch of the family, began to notice her isolation. He would find moments to compliment her cooking, linger during conversations, and offer words of encouragement when no one else was around. At first, his gestures seemed harmless, a fatherly attempt to make her feel welcome. Over time, however, Javed's interactions with Samira took on a different tone. His compliments became more personal. His glances lingered longer than they should, and his presence seemed to fill the void Tariq had left behind. Samira, flattered and longing for attention, didn't initially recognize the danger of their growing connection. She rationalized his behavior, convincing herself it was innocent. But deep down, an unsettling tension began to build between them, one that neither could ignore. The family's structured life provided ample opportunities for Javed and Samira to cross boundaries. While the rest of the household busied themselves with their routines, the two began to share quiet moments that blurred the lines between familial care and forbidden attraction. Each stolen glance and shared smile pushed them further down a treacherous path. Samira was torn between her role as a devoted wife and the intoxicating allure of the attention she craved. Little did she know that the choices she was making would lead to a betrayal so profound it would destroy the very family she was trying to belong to. The forbidden bond between Javed and Samira deepened with every stolen moment, evolving from subtle flirtations into a dangerous affair that neither could control. Their secret meetings began innocently enough, conversations that lingered too long in quiet corners or fleeting touches exchanged in passing. But soon, the allure of the forbidden consumed them both, and they found themselves navigating an intoxicating maze of lies and betrayal. Samira, who had once been a symbol of grace and duty, felt herself slipping further away from the life she had vowed to uphold. Javed, despite his years of wisdom, was equally ensnared, his desire overpowering any sense of morality. Their clandestine meetings became more reckless. Late-night rendezvous in the family's empty warehouse and whispered phone calls in the dead of night replaced the quiet moments at home. Each encounter heightened their risk of exposure, but it also fueled their obsession with one another. Samira felt alive in a way she hadn't in years, her loneliness replaced by a burning passion. Javed, on the other hand, felt an intoxicating sense of control and invincibility, believing he could maintain the facade of a loving patriarch while indulging in his secret desires. However, the weight of their deception began to show. Samira's behavior grew erratic. She avoided her husband, often retreating into silence or feigning illness to escape Tariq's questions. Javed's wife, a perceptive woman, noticed her husband's sudden absences and unusual protectiveness over Samira. The household, once a harmonious haven, now simmered with unspoken tension. Every stolen glance between Javed and Samira became a thread unraveling the fabric of their lives. The affair was no longer just a forbidden romance. It had become a ticking time bomb. They both knew that the moment their secret was discovered, there would be no going back, and the cost would be unimaginable. The Malik household's fragile peace came crashing down one fateful evening when Tariq returned home earlier than expected from a business trip. Exhausted but eager to surprise his wife, he quietly entered the house, only to notice an unsettling silence. As he walked through the hallways, faint whispers from the guest room caught his attention. His heart began to race as he approached the door, which was slightly ajar. What he saw inside would forever haunt him. His father, Javed, and his wife, Samira, locked in an intimate embrace, completely unaware of his presence. A deafening silence followed before Tariq's furious roar shattered the room. His voice, trembling with rage and betrayal, echoed through the house, drawing the rest of the family to the scene. Samira recoiled in shame, her tearful apologies drowned out by Tariq's accusations. Javed, a man once revered as the family's rock, stood frozen, his face a mask of guilt and fear. The confrontation quickly spiraled out of control as Tariq demanded answers, his heartbreak fueling his fury. He vowed to expose them, threatening to bring shame not only to the household, but to their entire community. The shock of the discovery rippled through the family. Javed's wife, overcome with disbelief, collapsed in tears, unable to process the betrayal. The once perfect image of the Malik family was shattered in an instant, replaced by anger, confusion, and despair. Tariq insisted that Samira leave the house immediately, but Javed, desperate to salvage what little he could, begged for forgiveness and promised to end the affair. As tensions flared, it became clear that the fallout from this betrayal would not be contained. The secret was out, and the devastating consequences of their forbidden love had only just begun to unravel. With their secret exposed and Tariq threatening to destroy their lives, Javed and Samira found themselves cornered. The weight of their actions pressed down on them like a suffocating force. They knew that once Tariq revealed the truth, the shame would ripple beyond the family, dragging their names through the mud and irreparably tarnishing their reputations. But as desperation set in, the pair crossed a chilling line. They decided that silencing Tariq was their only way out. The plan was horrifying in its simplicity. Javed convinced Samira that they needed to protect themselves, no matter the cost. The idea of losing everything they had, from Javed's authority in the family to Samira's fragile place in the household, became too much to bear. Driven by fear and selfishness, they plotted to stage Tariq's death as a robbery gone wrong. The family's warehouse, located in a secluded area, was the perfect location. Javed lured Tariq there under the pretense of discussing business, while Samira would create an alibi for herself at home. When the night arrived, everything seemed to go as planned. At first, Tariq entered the dimly lit warehouse, unsuspecting of the danger awaiting him. Javed attacked him from behind with a heavy wrench, but Tariq, fueled by anger and adrenaline, fought back fiercely. The struggle quickly escalated into chaos, with loud noises echoing through the empty building. Samira, who had arrived to ensure everything went smoothly, panicked as the fight spun out of control. In the heat of the moment, she grabbed the weapon to intervene, but instead of saving Javed, she delivered the fatal blow that ended his life. As Javed's lifeless body fell to the ground, Samira and Tariq were left staring at each other in shock. The betrayal, violence, and lies had finally reached their horrifying peak. The aftermath of that night was a whirlwind of chaos and devastation. Javed's lifeless body lay crumpled on the warehouse floor, a grim testament to the betrayal and desperation that had consumed the Malik family. Tariq, battered and bleeding, stared at Samira in disbelief, his mind racing to process the horrifying series of events. Samira, clutching the bloodied wrench, broke down in uncontrollable sobs, realizing the full weight of what she had done. The affair, the lies, and the violence had culminated in an unthinkable tragedy, leaving them both scarred in ways that could never be undone. The police arrived quickly, drawn by the commotion reported by nearby workers. As investigators pieced together the events, the shocking truth began to emerge. Under interrogation, Samira cracked, confessing to the affair and the murder plot in a haze of guilt and despair. Her confession exposed the dark secrets of the Malik household, shocking the community that had once revered them. Tariq, though spared physically, was left emotionally broken. He cooperated with authorities, his love for Samira obliterated by her betrayal. The court proceedings that followed were as harrowing as the crime itself. Samira was sentenced to a lengthy prison term for her role in the conspiracy and Javed's death. Tariq, though not charged, chose to sever all ties with his wife and distanced himself from the family's shattered legacy. The once proud Mullik household became a symbol of disgrace, its members scattered, their lives forever altered. Years later, the Mullik home remains abandoned, its walls a silent witness to the secrets, lies, and tragedy that unfolded within. Samira, isolated in her prison cell, spends her days haunted by memories of a forbidden love that spiraled into obsession and ended in bloodshed. The story of the Malik family serves as a chilling reminder of how far people will go to protect their darkest secrets and the devastating cost of betrayal.